This is the DJI FPV in 2025. DJI FPV is a couple of years old at this point, but I feel like there is still no drone that can replace it in the market as of 2025. So how good is it after so many years? And how does it stack up to the competition and other DJI FPV drones? So while this drone, it has been, out for a couple of years, and I feel like it's gonna be starting to be a little bit harder to get one, but if you already had one or you're able to get one, how good is it? Is it worth the price? Well, I would say that it's not being replaced by anything at the moment. The DJI Avata came out after it, and the DJI Avata 2 is already here too. Well, both of those drones have no capabilities to match that of the FPV. I feel like the camera is the worst part of it. It's a little bit of the heavier kind of a drone that doesn't really have amazing camera capabilities, and it can record in 4K 60 frames per second. But the 4K 60 frames per second is on a really narrow kind of a field of view. Because of that, I just don't feel like it's the best in terms of the filmmaking capabilities. That is the reason why I have this to put an action camera on top of it, making it a little bit heavier and also having a little bit more setup required to fly with it. But the strength of it is being used to carry something that is just a better quality in terms of video. Thanks to this, I'm flying on this camera, but recording in better format or better quality on the top with an action camera. The drone itself is really strong, something that the DJI Avata 2 and DJI Avata 1 didn't really match up with it. So in high wind situations, I was able to push this in incredible stormy weather and still create really nice videos. And yes, it would be harder to go one way and then really fast the other way. With the Avata, I would probably not even start. And I have to say, the 4K 60 frames per second in the D Cinelike isn't bad on this drone. I just don't feel like it's as good as I wish it could be. I know for many it's gonna be just as much as they need from it, but for me, I wanted to have the best quality with ND filters, so that's why I put a separate camera on top. But because of the strength of this drone, I can actually do it without having much feeling that I'm losing the power of the drone. It's not really gonna be that worse in terms of flight characteristics. So it's a really beast of a drone even in 2025. The one downside I have for it is this size. It's not the smallest and it's just not as easy to carry around with you. Having it on my adventures, I would not only have to, take the battery out and put it as simply as possible, put the propellers away, put it in a separate box, in a separate luggage, and then when we are traveling, I would have to have it on my back, sometimes even like a second bag on my backpack with it, then having to set up the propellers, set up the camera on the top, set up the goggles, like all the setup and the weight of it on your back is adding up. So it's not the most comfortable for longer travel adventures, but once you actually put it up in the air and just start flying with it and have incredible footage from your flights and really having that stable, solid performance that you can really count on and rely on, that is when you kind of feel that it was worth to take with you. You're not gonna remember that you were in pain because of that, but you're gonna love that you had it with you. The only caveat I see on this build, and even though as you can see there's not a single scratch on it, but because it's an open design, if you hit something, you're probably gonna break it and it's probably gonna be something you're gonna have to fix or you're out of your drone. So the Avata 1 and Avata 2 definitely has that improvement of that, guards, but those guards also make it not as stable in flight and that tumble that it had with it falling out of the sky. So it's like a trade-off. And I feel like this is a beast of a drone that is still with me up to this day because I don't see anything replacing it. I don't want to be playing with full-on custom-built FPVs, and especially the batteries, because I prefer the smart batteries that we have on this unit. I know it's not, super battery in terms of like how long I can fly, because especially with the camera on top of it, that is gonna, cut out the flight time a lot. But because I don't have to really think about how this battery operates, how I have to charge it, how I have to handle all the logistics of this drone, it just makes it like a combination of best of both worlds, the DJI system and a really stable and good, strong drone for all conditions. But I do tend to fly it a little bit higher than something like Avata. Not because it's going faster, but because I am a little bit more, let's say, worried that I might break it compared to the Avata or the Avata 2. But overall, I don't see myself selling it anytime soon, as while it's maybe not the longest in terms of flight time, because I only get about like 5 minutes per battery because of the added camera, and with it being pretty fast drone, it can go up to 160 kilometers an hour. Well, thanks to this, I just feel like it's maybe not long flights, but a real versatile camera that I know I can use in any weather conditions. The one thing is, I would not use it in cities, as I would be afraid of breaking not only the drone, but something in the city or someone, because it's a hefty drone, much stronger. The propellers are in the open, so it's a little bit kind of a different drone. In terms of how I use it with the controller that came with it and the goggles that came with it, which are the DJI Goggles V2. They're incredible for what they are, and I still don't use the newer goggles because those actually are more comfortable for me. I see better in them than the newer, lighter, smaller goggles. So I have to carry a little bit more, but I just feel like I see better in those. Even if I use them with the Avata, I still prefer these goggles because how they match the shape of my face and make everything more clear when compared to the smaller, lighter goggles. So I feel like even in 2025, this is still a great drone for those that want to get into FPV, or those that don't want to actually go for a full custom FPV with the batteries and everything that you have to know a little bit more. If you want to have that FPV experience, but just a little bit more on the DJI side, I would say this is an incredible drone. But you have to look into the DJI Avata and Avata 2 if maybe those drones are a little bit more your way. There is, however, one drone that has been with me recently a little bit more than the DJI FPV. And the reason for that is the weight. And the way it's kind of like a mix between the DJI FPV and an Avata, which is the DJI Avata, but with its, modifications, with the Axis Flying mod kit. Essentially, it makes it much stronger. I don't use an external camera on it, but you could if you wanted to. But also, it just makes it much stronger, much closer to the DJI FPV, but the battery lasts a little bit longer. You can go really fast with it. But it's smaller, not as loud as the FPV, just a little bit less of a missile compared to the FPV, and still really, really capable, making the Avata the way it should be from the get-go. So it's a really nice modification. If you want to know more about this, check out the video in the top right corner of the screen right now, where I talk about the DJI FPV Axis Flying mod for the Avata 1, which is now my favorite FPV to take on my adventures, because it's just easier to use, lighter, and easier to have with me at all times. But if you already have the DJI FPV or are looking for one, I can highly recommend it, especially even if you want to have additional camera on top of it. It's going to be an amazing drone even in 2025, as there is nothing that really compares to it. And I kind of wish DJI actually made a DJI FPV 2, which would be a little bit lighter, smaller, with better camera and better battery. But here we are in 2025, and still I have to recommend the DJI FPV. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.